Alright, let's do this real quick. The first thing I'm going to do is right here you can see where it says 0. This is the middle of the edit area. So you want to get the model itself in the middle of the edit area. So I'm going to scroll out just a little bit, and down here you see placement. This tells where the model is at. This allows you to rotate the model, and this one allows you to make it larger. So right now it's highlighted. This is the location of the model itself, and you can see they're not at 0. So I'm going to click this first one and hit 0, enter. Okay, you see it jumped over there. I'm going to hit the next one, which is pointing the y-axis. So I'm going to put this one here. I'm going to put a 0, enter. Okay, now this model is 0 placement on the x and the y axis. Okay, now the z, what you need to do is click on it and settle it. So up here toward the top, you're going to look for edit, object. Okay, right here it says settle. Okay, so up in here it indicates settle. You're going to click on that. You're going to go over here and say, yes, I do want it to be settled. So now if you look at it, the model is settled to the table. Let's zoom in. You can see here it is settled to the table, and you can see here that there is this gap. So you're going to split this in half. So I'm going to go back up here where it indicates, let's find it here, edit, under split, it says it indicates edit and split. So I'm going to highlight that. So right now you see the split plane has found center because it's on the axis here, the Z. So you're going to rotate it. Right over here is a arrow that rotates around this way. So you're going to capture it. It turns green. You're going to rotate it up like that till it locks in. This is exactly centered in the model here itself, but you want to bring it over here. So you're going to capture this little hand here will show up. You're going to capture that and drag it over to the center where the two parts are. But you can see one part is missing because up here it indicates that you want to keep the top, but you want, and if you want the bottom, it's switched over, but you want both. So there's both. We're going to zoom in on it here to be sure you're actually where you need to be. So I'm going to capture here. You can see where the little hand, right there, it turns to a hand. Right there, capture it. Now I can move it here. I can move it there. So I'm going to move it right in the middle. Now to be absolutely sure I got both of them, I'm going to pick one of these up here. I'm going to say just top, capture it again, and move it. See, so right there is about center between the spacing. Again, do both right there. So we have both. It's centered exactly here in the middle between. I'm going to say split. Boom. Okay, now I'm going to say, I'm going to deselect way over here, deselect both. I want to grab this one because you can see now it's highlighted right here. Okay, then you're going to drag it over. Okay, you can see it's plainly separated. Now this one still isn't settled to the table. You need to settle it. So we're going to go back over here to object, click settle, bam, it's settled. You're going to agree to it. Okay, there you go. Deselect all. Okay, so there it is. So we have two parts, two models. You can now fiddle with them. You need to, again, so that you're not printing these at the same time, you're going to isolate this. So you're going to create another window. So let me just deselect over here, deselect, so they're not selected. I'm going to minimize it down. Okay, there you can see is this is the page that we are at. I'm going to minimize that just to kind of get it out of the way. Now right here, I'm going to create another model. So you can create as many of these as you want. I'm going to open another one. Okay, so there we go. We're going to open another one, and I'm going to say a new one. Okay, so now we have two windows. So that's the advantage of 3D Builders. You can have as many as you want. So we currently have the one that we're editing on over here. Let's go ahead, go down. Let's bring this wide. So now, oops, let me go down here, grab this again. Move this a little wider. Let's say right there. Okay, so now we have two models over here, one here. So now I'm going to take this one, which is highlighted here, and drag it over here. I'm going to now, since we have two, I'm going to delete this one. So edit, so let's just delete it. Bam. So now over here, we have one half over here. Oops, let's look at it here. We have the other half. I'm going to go to View and get rid of reflections because it's actually on the reflection. You see it's highlighted reflections. Turn that off. Now again, we need to zero this on the table. Okay, so I'm going to click this first one, go 0, enter. 0, enter. Okay, now this half, deselect, is actually centered on the table, ready to print as a new model. It's flat to the table. Alright, so let's minimize that. We're going to go over here. Okay, so now this is actually one piece. We're going to go ahead and zero that. So we're going to go here as 0. Okay, and this one's already indicated 0. Okay, let's just enter it anyway and settle that to the table. Boom, it's settled. Alright, so there you go. Now you have two models that need to be printed that will eventually be glued together or hooked together somehow. Let's minimize this down and deselect. Grab this over here, kind of close it up just a little bit so you can kind of see that there are two separate individual models that need to be printed. And I hope this helped. Happy printing.